Sound the horn. For one last time, go Sabres. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. And I took yesterday away from recording because life is more important than recording a 10-minute podcast, even though it's been fun. And I wanted to take a day away to really think about the Sabres, both the Game 7 loss and the season as a whole. As you can see, I'm clearly still a Sabres fan, despite what some might think, because we're wearing the classic Max Affinaganoff slug jersey. One of my favorite players of the 2000s era Sabres. And first things first, my thoughts on Game 7. I think both teams played incredibly well. And when you get to a game where it goes to overtime, both teams, quote unquote, deserve to win, right? For whatever that means in sports, and people measure it in different ways. I know there's a deserve-o-meter that floats around out there saying who deserves to win it more. That measures, expected goals and things like that. But really, when it comes down to it, if you take a game to overtime, both teams at that point really deserve to win. It's sudden death. Anything can happen. And at the end of that game, the Sabres, who were down 2-0, early in the game, fought their way back in and were 2-2. And then were peppering Jakob Dobish with shots. Just ripping shot after shot after shot at him. And, to his credit, he was standing on his head. Sure, there was the one early whistle, right? That you could say, well, that was an early whistle. That blew too fast. Like, it shouldn't have they shouldn't have blown that early whistle. Okay. Like, you can't fight the whistle. There was a kick goal that shouldn't have counted. Was it a clear and obvious kick? I don't know. And there was no way to review it. Both teams, when you got to overtime, deserved, quote unquote, the win. And the Canadiens just got it. We had somebody, we were talking, I was texting with my fiance's brother, and we were going back and forth on the game. And we got to overtime, and he basically says, if I was betting money, I'd say Benson on the Sabres or Newhook on the Canadiens is going to be the hero of overtime. So naturally, I'm a Sabres fan. I said, well, it's got to be Benson. And Benson got the best shot I think the Sabres had in overtime when he ripped one from the right side of the net. And Dobish, he saved it. And then Newhook, on what probably should have been a pretty routine save for UPL, scored. And I mean, like I say routine save for UPL, right? It was a great shot, ripped it right between the glove and the pad, and he just beat him. It's overtime. Bounces happen. Basically, in overtime, you live in a world of it happens. It's just hard for it to be it happens in Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs. Rightly, my predictions for Game 7 got, roasted. And credit to most of the Montreal fans who came on my channel to give me my well-deserved roasting. Unlike during the series, this time around, 99% of everybody who chimed in, had nothing but lightly roasting or good things to say about the Sabres, and I reflected that energy back. There were a couple of idiots, but I don't know. The video that's still getting more idiots is my video about ESPN, which is odd because I don't know why you'd want to step into that mess and defend $1 billion corporation, but go off. Whatever you want to do. Taking a step back from Game 7. Objectively speaking, how exciting as a Sabres fan was it to have a team that had been in a 14-year playoff drought not only make the playoffs, but on the way to making the playoffs, win the Atlantic Division, win a series, and be in a Game 7 overtime scenario in round 2 of those playoffs? If you had told me at the beginning of the year you're going to make the playoffs for the first time in 14 years, but you're going to lose in Game 7 of round 2, in October, I would have probably signed up for that. Everybody wants to win the Stanley Cup, right? Like, obviously, I would prefer that. But I would have signed up for a playoff series that goes the distance and then extra. Goes the distance and then extra to settle out who's the better team. I have nothing but good things to say about the Montreal Canadiens as a team at the end of this series. Yes, I know I was making fun of them during the series, but that was during the series. I have nothing but good things to say about them. They're young, they're fast, they're strong, and they're hungry. They are very similar to the Buffalo Sabres, as evidenced by the fact that they went 7 games in the round. I don't know how they're going to do against Carolina. I have no prediction for that. Carolina looks like a juggernaut, and they look like a well-rested juggernaut. They're 8-0 in the playoffs, which is an insane, insane number. If Montreal can win the first game, maybe it flips the series on its head because finally a crack shows in the Carolina Hurricanes armor. But that's neither here nor there. The Sabres did everything they could to make the city of Buffalo proud. And this year they did. It's different for like the Buffalo Bills, who have consistently had playoff success, year after year after year after year, where you say, okay, you've done the thing, now you've got to break through. The Sabres hadn't broken through yet. This year they broke through. Now there's new expectations going forward. But there's new expectations because this team can meet them. There's decisions to be made. Jarmo Kekalainen's got a bunch of big decisions coming up. He made one big decision and signed Lindy Ruff to a new 2-year contract extension, which is great. The biggest financial decision coming up is probably what to do about Alex Tuch, who had a great season, a great first round, and then against Montreal, for whatever reason, just vanished. And I don't know if... I wouldn't say that him vanishing against Montreal is enough to not want him back. I do think it's enough to wonder, okay, is he... he's going to demand, and rightly, a big money long-term contract. He's going to get it from somebody. Is he the right guy? Should he have it with the Buffalo Sabres? I think that's a fair question to ask. And I don't know, honestly. Having a regular season guy is important because you got to get through 82 games of the regular season. But that disappearance when the lights were brightest, and you had the same problem with Tuch Thompson, right? He did okay in the series. He didn't do what you expect one of your top goal scorers to do, which is, consistently put points on the board. They both just kind of faded, and Lindy was able to shake up the lines a little bit and still get good production out of everybody. But, with those two guys and their disappearance leads you to question what you do with Alex Tuch. And then there's other decisions you got to make going forward from that as well, because you have a bunch of young players you have to sign to new extended contracts because they earned them. Like Zach Benson earned a long-term big money contract. I don't know if it's long-term big money yet. He had a really good, year in playoff, but you've got Konsta Helenius who's coming up the ranks. Even Noah Ostlund, who I know he was injured for a while, but when he came into the Bruins series, he lit it up instantly, and he was a rookie, right? So do you give Alex Tuch a contract at the expense of getting those guys contracts? I don't know. It's an open question. We'll explore it this offseason, as we'll explore Buffalo Bills excitement and everything else in the offseason here on the show. But for now, I'm out of time. I'm actually giving you a bonus minute, which is fun for me. Anyways, enjoy. We'll be back with more offseason news for the Bills and for the Sabres. And until next time, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.